Travis So, after gaining control, or being allowed control, of my internet and computer yesterday morning, I've not had a problem since. And I don't know why, but yay. I don't know if it was a warning shot across my bow, or such that if I do more videos about this place or about the church, that I'll again be attacked. I don't know if it's because I filed another complaint with the U.S. Attorney General, my court and the counterclaim, or with the South Salt Lake Chief of Police. The Chief of Police and the court, I was able to provide them with the actual evidence of this shelter and their ARP tampering, the spoofing device. And the Chief of Police, I was able to show the Utah law for which cyber crimes are involved. His officers were trying to tell me that cybercrime is not a crime. And that's not the case. So, I don't understand why. Maybe the head of this shelter had a change of heart. Too many unknowns. But we'll do what we can in the circumstances we're under. Because all that was done is that I'm given access again. My life's not changed. I'm still stuck here. I'm still having, background issues. I'm still having the health concerns. But I don't know if they're trying to tell me to stay away from Gail Miller or the church, but or if it was a result of one of the staff members last Friday, again wanting me to not use my laptop, and it seemed to be a retaliation from my standing up for myself to get access to basic necessities here. This claims to be a resource center, but why would they then deny me resources? It doesn't make sense, especially when this is my business, especially when I have dealings with the government in multiple ways, especially when I have dealings with medical. It is not in their best interest to keep suppressing me. But in so doing, especially after I filed the complaint with the shelter, according to the police officer's advice, for them to again attack and make it a big one overnight, that was a confession of guilt. For them to reply with further attacks means that every stipulation in that complaint they verified. Yep, we're doing it. Bleep you, Travis. And did I tell you this is RSV? The doctor tested me on last Sunday. She said it was just going to go away on its own, and just wait for it to go away. But anyway, I am able to sleep, sort of, better through the night. But, yeah, there's been some videos that have slipped through YouTube's cracks, even though YouTube does eventually shut them down around 200 views. There's what harm is there in giving LDS Church religious freedom? 165. It was me who has been doing the investigation of the church, who knows what the church is up to in building Zion, who has caught this. And that's the sad part, is that you have the Associated Press, you have press from foreign nations, and they're the ones who, when they get a tip about the church, actually do an investigation of the church and find that there's a serious crime going on. And because here in Utah, all the local news is suppressed by the church so that it doesn't leak to the national news. So when the whistleblower comes out and goes public, that's when the church gets exposed. Other people who go public, that's when the church gets exposed. I'm going public, but the church is able to cover my information up from you. But I'm right on top of it because I'm investigating the church, taking the punishment that everybody else is afraid of. And it's horrible to see Mormons who defend criminal activity just because it's their church. It's my church too, but I will not tolerate crime. I will not tolerate abuse. And the church did it, and they attacked first. If they had just left me alone the whole time, I would have gone on my merry way studying ancient languages like I did in my post yesterday. None the wiser, because there would have been no reason for me to study church history because I've got too much to do with the ancient languages. And yet they purposely forced me to do the research on the church to find out that they're false. So the church is to blame for what I'm doing that they're now punishing me for. And it's stupid of them. I mean, seriously, criminals are stupid. And it's just unbelievable how stupid they are. And only by being powerful and wealthy are they able to get away with their stupidity. And with the Respect for Marriage Act, that was all about the church. The church was the ones who made it happen because of their amendment. And the church's official statement regarding the signing of it made it very clear it had nothing to do with respect for marriage. It was all about the church being independent of the law, that they get to do whatever they want and not be punished. It was called religious freedom, because they've been doing that movement this whole time. And once it clicks in your head that the church isn't true, then you're able to go back and go, oh, okay, yeah, they've been lying. I can't trust anything they've been telling me. And what they are doing has to be seen as skeptical. You have to investigate to find out what crime they're up to, what conspiracy plot they're planning. And so, going back to when Nelson took over, you even can go into Monson. After Monson is alerted to the public that he's bedridden, permanently bedridden, Even though they're claiming, oh yeah, he's still in charge, he's still signing documents. No. When you understand that he had diabetes and had dementia, whether it was from Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, whatever, doesn't matter, old age, doesn't matter. Those were the two things he was suffering from. And you're not able to function. If he was signing documents, it was because he was not in his right mind. When you do a will, you have to sign that you were in the right mind to do it. That you were under duress by somebody threatening you to put them in the will or take someone out of the will, etc. and blah, blah, blah. And so he's bedridden. He's on his deathbed. And at the end of the year, 2017, all of these things are getting passed through the church at a record-breaking pace. And I'm going, wait a minute, what? Huh? What's going on? And then we find out in 2018 with the Solemn Assembly that they were doing business deals with Russia. And if you're not going to obey the Doctrine and Covenants, let's bring it up here. Trump, teach you more diligently things both in heaven and in earth, under the earth, things which have been, things which are, things which must shortly come to pass, things which are at home, things which are abroad. Yeah. The judgments which are upon the land, and the knowledge also of countries and kingdoms. Yeah, that's section 88, verses 79. You know, you're supposed to be knowledgeable about the news. You're supposed to be knowledgeable about the sciences. You're not just supposed to focus on your life. You're not supposed to focus on the basic doctrines, faith and repentance. But yet Mormons do the minimal. They don't want to do all that's required of them. And so when the church does something, you have to understand they're setting something up. And if you don't have your own testimony of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon, that they do not belong to this church, 232 views, supposedly. Seems to be where it's getting stopped by YouTube. Then you're not going to catch on to Senator Mike Lee as a Mormon helping the church with their agenda. See, because I didn't understand why he didn't vote for the amended act. He voted against it. And he wanted to instead put his amendment, further amendment, so that Mormons could oppose services to those who they opposed. Well, as Mormons, we're not supposed to oppose anybody. We're supposed to be kind and loving to our neighbors. So what is Mike Lee doing? Well, if you don't know church history, you don't know he's the descendant of John D. Lee, who murdered women and children with the Mountain Meadows Massacre. And you don't know that he's one of the Danites that was under Brigham Young's authority that caused the Mormon War. He was right there at that election fraud in Daviess County, Missouri, 1838, which they frauded the sheriff and the judge to blame Joseph for it. And Joseph ended up in Liberty Jail. So you can see where my mind goes when I do a video about LDS Utah Senator impose Mormon Jesus Internet Community Guidelines, and then following that, Danites framed Joseph Smith into Liberty Jail and forge LDS Scripture. See, as you follow me, you can see where my mind is going. And then you can make sense of what I'm talking about, rather than coming to one video and asking me questions that could be simply answered if you were just following me. And I know YouTube's made it tougher now, because they've taken out the section that you can put older videos to start with. They make it difficult. You have to actually type in the specific video topic, probably exactly, in order to find my older videos now, which is kind of lame of YouTube. But I use a laptop rather than a cell phone. I used a cell phone while I was shut down the other day, and I tried to access YouTube. Oh my God, how do you guys do it? It's the most frustrating functioning system in the world. I hate cell phones. I don't like them. They're only good for phone calls, but I have to hold them with my hand the whole time. And so I don't like long phone calls because of that. You know, I need some kind of an ear clip that I can let the phone be in a other position or whatever, so that I don't have to do much. But I prefer actually seeing the person I'm talking to rather than just talking to a voice. But yeah, I can't. Cell phones are so obsolete. I want my towers back, even though they're obsolete now, I guess. You have to struggle to find a tower for sale. At Best Buy, I went in there, it was all laptops and stuff at the most. All the different kinds that they have now. And you have to struggle to find ones that are of good memory size, because the majority of them are just, oh my God, we're supposed to be improving on technology, not regressing in technology. But they purposely do this so that they can keep the prices high. It's just, so frustrating that they can't be good, that they have to be corrupt and greedy. But yeah, the whole purpose, if you had paid attention to the church, was to abuse LGBTQ with that Respect for Marriage Act, to sabotage it. And other conservative groups caught on. They're going, yeah, we can now tear it down and destroy it. Way to go. So the church is devious. And that deviousness is not perceived by Mormons who are born and raised in the church. Instead, they emulate the church because it's the church and they want to be faithful. And they don't realize that their emulation is of a criminal nature, because the church is criminal in all that they do. When they tell you that Jesus is the Christ, you're an anti-Semite, because they're lying to you. And just like Christians, you don't understand why you're an anti-Semite for saying Jesus is the Christ. You don't know the history of Constantine, who was the one who caused it, who created Christianity, who created Jesus as the character who would be the Christ. And then I get people who just are clueless, but Jesus is in the Book of Mormon. No, he's not. The name Jesus is a name. It has meaning. When you do fiction writing, and the Jews during the Roman period were doing apocalyptic literature. So there's a reason why they gave certain characters certain names, because of the meaning of those names. That's why it's important to know the Greek or the Aramaic or the Hebrew or the biblical or the, depending on who's writing and what language they're using. And I've been going over if we were to use Paleo Hebrew with the Old Testament lessons and even in the New Testament lessons, which I noticed YouTube is pulling a stunt on me. They're connecting my lessons to the church. For example, the last one I did in the lesson number 5, 2023 LDS Sunday School New Testament lesson number 5, Changing Mormon Minds. And they put in a thing at the top. 2023 New Testament Sunday School lessons, so that people can skip my video and go to the churches, which is going to screw them up. They're not going to get the correct information by going to the church, and YouTube sabotaged me here. And so I don't have as many views on the lessons that I could have, should have, otherwise. Oh, yep, polygamous child brides. So what are they doing with business deals? Mormons are going, yeah, we're converting the world. They don't get it. Oh, here we go. 8:30, and I got shut down on my internet. It's beginning. So they purposely do that. They shut down my internet service so that they can peek, because my security is disabled once the internet service goes down, because it disconnects the security. But 8:30. So they're watching me still. They're still testing. They will not leave me alone. And yes, the church is making money off of everything they do as charity. Because remember, the money they used to give was money that they received as donation in the first place. And so everything they do is 100% profit for them. It's an investment for profit. And when you realize that they're not true, you're able to see past whatever they're pretending to advertise for you. And so, pay attention to my fast facts, guys. A couple of them you are, but they've been stopped. But use the science. Identify patterns, any anomalies, you develop a theory, and test it. If it's confirmed, get a couple more confirmations, and you're good. You can establish a fact. But know the difference between a fact and an opinion. Too much in the news is all about getting a response from people, getting a feeling, getting emotions. And I don't want anything to do with that. That's not telling me what happened. If there's a shooting that's gone on, don't tell me how people are feeling about it. Tell me what happened. Tell me the facts of what happened. 5 shooters went into a mall. 15 people are reported injured at the hospital. 3 are confirmed dead. That kind of thing. And as the news gets more information, as they're supposed to investigate, see, that's the problem, is that the news on a whole, both conservative and liberal, are backing off from actual investigative journalism. And they're replacing it with the easy, how does that make you feel? And I've warned you of the dangers of psychology. They are not a legitimate science. And if they're not a legitimate science, anything they say is false. All their diagnoses, false. But if you do not understand that they are not a legitimate science, you're not going to catch on and you're going to be fooled by them. They are going to play you, con you, deceive you, and get themselves into a position of power over you. You cannot let them. Any psychologist, even if they're an ex-Mormon, even if they were working for the church and got excommunicated because they were following their curriculum. Yes, Mackenzie, Dennison. But that incident tells us that the church wants to control psychology. Tell them how they want to be used. They're weaponizing psychology. And that's why the church had been the only ones using the conversion therapy since 1959 to 2021 and want to bring it back. And so with this establishment of Zion, they're bringing it back. It's a guarantee. They canceled their adoption agency with family services. Why? Because of gay marriage. They don't want to give babies from single mothers who'd been raped, that they'd forced them to have the baby, to go to gay couples. They want them to go to good, tithe-paying Mormon white families who are wealthy and rich, because they're the only ones who can pay the church for them. It's human trafficking that the church was involved with, but they got out as gay marriage was approved. And so why do they keep pushing to overthrow gay marriage? Because they want it back. Why is Nelson making changes that suggest he's wanting to bring back polygamy? It's because they are. You guys got to pay attention, because the church will trick you. They are evil, just as the symbol on the keystone of the Salt Lake Temple tells you they are. And if you're going to live in denial, if you're going to live in non-reality, they will destroy you. Because they're not interested in you. They're interested in their goals. You have to serve them. You're their slave. You must give everything to them. Number 5, law of consecration. And, you know, their claim of rewarding you, the feeling of peace, happiness, love. Yeah, no, it's a con. So don't be fooled. I keep warning you. And I'm taking the punishment for it, because I will not deny truth. I will not deny science. That was the whole purpose of finding out if Joseph Smith was a translator. I did. He is. He's good. So, alrighty. Looks like that was just a brief thing. So, but yeah, again, I don't know what happened to allow this, but we'll keep an eye out.